Hi, friends. This is is it 7 or is it 8? I'll title it the right way in the video description of my multi level marketing journal entry. And this is a series, an ongoing series that people asked me to do earlier this year, back in March, when they first watched me be interviewed by Savy Leiser of Savy Writes Books, talking about being in that one. And I'll put the link down in the description box. It says she was in 27 MLMs. And I told her that. And then after the interview, I was thinking I was in 29, actually. Anyway, it started something. A lot of people kept asking me, oh, read your journal about your MLM journey. So this is number 8. I think it's 8. And I'm just going to read the journal, and then I'm going to go back and I'll elaborate on it. I will put the last video in the series in the description box so you can go back and watch that first, because this is an ongoing series. If you just watch this if you watch this out of God, it's late because I'm not even thinking about the words. If you watch it out of sequence, it might not make sense. All right, so this was back Tupperware again in 1989. As soon as I got off active duty with the U.S. Army, I was 27 years old, living with Mom and Ron Taylor. Okay, now my mother had passed away the year previous, in 1988. She died on Mother's Day. Somewhere in here, I'm going to talk about that too. How the importance of communicating with your parents as an adult. But she passed away at the age of 58, which I'm 59. So that was a big deal. She just dropped dead in a fishing boat with my stepfather on Mother's Day. So I had a mother, a lady who had been since I was 9 years old, like a surrogate mom. And so Mom and Ron Taylor, that was who those people were. I went and when I got off of active duty with the Army, I moved in with them. And this was in Valentine's Day of February 1989. And I was on what they call terminal leave because I was under contract with active duty until 29 March. And I was still getting paid for active duty. And then I went into the Ready Reserve. So I was doing the weekend warrior thing. And I was always asking for extra allocations because the Army would get probably about a week's worth of extra duty you could do a month if you asked for it. And I always asked for it. And I had a boss. I was working for Mary Maids, cleaning houses. And he knew he was really good about letting me go for the week if I needed to go to the reserve unit to work. And then I was a chef. I became a chef in the Army. I was a master cake decorator, and I would do decorated cakes to order on the side because the bakeries didn't want to pay me what I felt like I was worth. I was very specialized, and I was a champion. I had won all these awards in the Army, got the Army Commendation Medal twice for competing with the Army Culinary Arts Program. And that's another series that I'm going to start working on, talking about that. But I was a chef, not just a food service specialist. I became a chef in the Army. Not everybody gets to do that because I was in the Culinary Arts Program, and I had competed and I had won a couple times and got all these awards for it. So to go to a bakery and be told I was going to get paid minimum wage, that wasn't going to work. And they wanted me to just do this cake as fast as they could. You go to Walmart and you can see what they come up with. And I wasn't going to do that. I did things out of my house that were like really nice work for people. It's just that doing that, though, it was a small business. It wasn't something that was going to pay the bills. So I had to do something else besides working at Mary Maid's part-time cleaning 2 houses a day for about 6 hours. And then I was doing the weekend warrior thing once, excuse me, once a month, and then a week out of the month, doing the cakes on the side. I got off of active duty because I wanted to go on a mission for the LDS Church, the Latter-day Saints Mormon Church. And you have to pay out of pocket for that. Only the really impoverished members get to have the church pay for that for you. You have to pay for it, and if you don't get to choose where to go, you go where the prophet sends you. And if you go to a place where it's really cold, you have to have clothes for that. And I was living in Southern California. I didn't have like this huge winter overcoat. And if they sent me to Germany, back to Germany, I'd been in Germany on active duty with the army. I bought clothes over there because I could get them really cheap in Berlin and East Germany from the East Germans and the Russians. And I bought a bunch of stuff, so I was ready for the mission. But I needed the money to put aside to have for the 18 months I was going to serve wherever it was they were going to send me. So I was living with Mom and Ron Taylor while I got ready to put mission papers in. And when you put your papers in, you have to get a doctor's physical. You have to get a dental examination. I tried doing this when I was 21, and they found I had 4 bone-impacted wisdom teeth that had to be extracted first. Because if they send you to overseas, they can't have you having to get your wisdom teeth extracted because you're not under any kind of health care over there. It's a big deal. So that was what put me off when I was 21. And then you have to have if you're a woman, you have to have a female examination, pap smear, pelvic examination, all that stuff. So that's what it means when it says putting in your papers. And then you have to you have to see your bishop and get a bishop's referral to go. And that's a whole nother, like I said, that's going to be part of my leaving the Mormon Church story, talking about all those details because it gets complicated. So here it was, I did really well this time because Sybil, that's my middle sister. There's 4 of us from my mom and dad, and then my dad had a little girl, Heather. So there's 5 of us. But my next sister up, 4 years older, died. She's 2 days old. And then the next sister up was Sybil, middle sister. She, and then Mom Taylor, and then my boss. That's right. Wait, my boss. Not my boss. Let's see. It says this person's name, and I don't want to say it because she might be well known, and I don't want to use her name without permission. I worked on the weekends that I wasn't doing army duty. I worked in catering because this lady, she was a member of our ward. She had this wonderful Hawaiian luau business, and I worked in catering with her as a food preparation. That's what I did back then, was food preparation. So that was extra money. It seemed like I was working all the time. And then my cousin, Teddy, who's passed away now, I can talk about her. They all helped me. And Teddy, she knew lots of people, and she sold Mary Kay, and she was really good at it. Didn't have the pink Cadillac, only because she didn't want it. But if I wasn't doing Tupperware as much as I was, she probably would have recruited me into Mary Kay. I never joined Mary Kay. But if I would have, it would have been with her. And what we would do is she'd have some really successful Tupperware parties because there was always a hostess gift that they were offering for women that had parties, $200, $300, $300, and then 2 bookings off the party. You got all these beautiful, at that time it was the rainbow pastel tumblers that looked like they were glass, but they were acrylic. they had a whole set. The salad bowl, big salad bowl that you could use for a punch bowl, and the salad, little individual salad bowls that went with it. And it was in a pitcher. It was a really nice set, and she wanted that set, so she had a couple parties for me that were really good because she lived down in the Palm Springs area, and she was part of the Rotary Club. Her husband worked for the sheriff's office, and she had a lot of contacts. So I mean, I had a lot of fun going down there doing parties for her. I just have to tell you that um, I wasn't not interested in recruiting because I knew I was only going to be home long enough to get my mission papers submitted and get my mission call, which it takes about between 3 and 6 weeks. And so this was March, April '89, and I knew that by October I was going to be gone. So why should I sign people up, recruit them into Tupperware to make this team when I'm not going to be around to mentor them? That was when I started to see how the managers signing, like who signed me up, and I'm trying to remember. I went to the Riverside distributorship, and I've explained this whole thing in previous videos about the distributorships. The lady who had signed me up before I went in the Army was no longer doing Tupperware. So I just called the Riverside distributorship, and they just signed me to some lady random she lived within a couple miles of where I lived, okay? Because I lived over by UCR, the University of California, Riverside, in that area. And so they found me somebody who was just within a couple miles. A really nice lady, Debbie, somebody she'd been a manager for a while. She was very well established and knew what she was doing, and she could mentor me. Oh, excuse me. And she was a good mentor. It's just that I was single, and I was I going to school? No, I didn't have time to go to school. I was living a temporary life. So I wasn't like invested in it for the long haul. I wanted to just make enough money to go on my mission, and that was it. So, and she knew that. I was very upfront with her, telling her what my plans were, and she admired that. So she didn't talk about recruiting with me. She was really good like that. I never felt like I was pushed at that point into recruiting. Made parties, yeah, because if I did parties 5 nights a week, I'd make the money from doing those parties. So that was the incentive for me. Okay, and of course, again, I got to pick out my kit, which was $150 worth of the latest Tupperware. And I've said in previous videos before that they're really good about changing colors for the trends to appeal to people to want to buy more Tupperware. And so I just got a whole new, what I call a hope chest bag to show people how to use. And it was like, why not do it? I'd already been doing it. I knew how to do it. I was good at it. So why not? Okay, so let's see here. Oh boy. I had a blast meeting new people. My cousin, like I said, Teddy, God, she introduced me to so many fun people. And I loved going back down there she lived actually in Bermuda Dunes, which is Bermuda Dunes, Rancho Mirage, Thousand Palms, Desert Hot Springs, Cathedral City, Palm Springs, that whole area, Indio. And I loved having an excuse to drive down there, do the parties, hang out with her. I'd spend the night, go to her friends and give their parties for them. They're all nice ladies, and they were all successful parties. I saw wow, I could really make a business at this if I wanted to. But like I said, it was just temporary. And I would do specialty parties. So like my cousin wanted me to focus on those rainbow pastel acrylic glasses, the whole line. And the party was, let's see, this was probably more toward like May or June, before it gets hot as hell down there. And she had a pool. So we'd have like pool Tupperware parties. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? At least that's the way I looked at it at the time. And then, let's see, my little sister. No, that was later. Let's see. I only quit because I left on my mission. I was delivering Tupperware in Las Vegas on my way to the MTC. Okay, the MTC is the Missionary Training Center for the LDS Church, and it's in Provo, Utah. And that's where, if you're a state in the U.S., that's where they send you to. That's where they did at the time in 1989. They send you there, and my mission call was to go to the Italy Catania mission, which was, God, when I read my mission call, I was like, what? I went to Germany. I lived in Germany 3.5 years. I could speak German enough to get around, and I had my driver's license over there. I had a car. I drove over there by myself. I knew I was proficient enough with German to go order food, buy clothes, stay at a hotel, meet new people. I went to AA, German AA meetings. So I knew enough German. And I took French in high school for 3 years. And I spoke French. I did temporary duty assignments to Belgium where I used my French. And I thought they'd send me to one of those countries, but no, they sent me to Italy to learn Italian. I was just flabbergasted. So my dad was taking me to the the missionary training center, and I had stopped in Vegas because my mom's sister, older sister, my aunt Phil, lived in Las Vegas, and she ordered Tupperware from me. She and my cousin Nan both had ordered enough where I counted it as a party for my aunt because they both ordered so much. And I was stopping on the way to the missionary training center, dropping off Tupperware orders. And my dad said, "Honey, sweetie, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Deliver Tupperware when you're in Italy?" And I said, "Well, Daddy, I don't think they allow that." And he said, "Yeah, they have Tupperware over there." And I said, "Don't tell me that because then I will do that, and it's against the mission rules. You can't be running a side business when you're a missionary. You're at their disposal." So that was just so funny, though. My dad joked and asked if I was going to keep selling Tupperware even on my mission. And I'll tell you what, I sure did think about it, though. I did. I don't know what it is. I'm still trying to figure this out because it's a behavioral issue. Just yesterday, I had this horrible. I woke up and I drank my coffee, my cold brew, and I started getting these insane thoughts again about going back into doTERRA, asking them to reinstate me because I was missing products that I thought I couldn't get anywhere else. And then this other company I bought that I was a distributor for, Vibrance. They used to be 0 Point Global, but they're Vibrance. They have a eye drops that helped, I believe this to this day, helped me heal the vitreous detachment in my eyes. And I have vitreous again with the glaucoma. And yesterday, my eyes were so itchy from allergies, and I was having issues thinking, oh God, I need the Arc Vision from Vibrance. And I contacted them just to buy a bottle as a customer. And they said, no, you have to sign back up as a distributor. I was just like, I almost did. And I had to stop and I said, what are you doing? This is a behavioral problem. And this was where I'd made this connection before with the journal, but I've noticed how much it's still a problem. Even, February was when I resigned from doTERRA. So here we are 10 months later, and I'm still struggling where I had to stop. My husband had to intervene. And my husband, he's not abusive, and he doesn't tell me what to do, but he said, honey, listen to yourself. You cannot go back into those companies. Why are you even thinking that? And I was thinking, my God, what is wrong with me that I'm thinking that I have to have On Guard from doTERRA? And I started looking at the other companies, they're small non-MLM companies that I have worked with for years, looking at their products, thinking, God, they've got all the products, the same stuff that the doTERRA was selling, but without the strings attached for an MLM. That's all I needed to do was just take the time to go and look at those resources and be reminded that I have other options and stop freaking out. Because the MLM attitude for me was a habit for so long that it became ingrained in me as a behavior, just like with the religion was with Mormonism. And it has to be programmed and processed out, and it takes time to do that. So, and I woke up today, I was really proud of myself. I thought, oh my God, I had 2 instances where I was really feeling weak at the knees, and I worked my way and worked myself through it without having to call somebody and say, like, oh my God, I'm an MLM addict and I need help. Because that's what I felt like. And I thought, how can I go on YouTube and on my channel and share my story if I've signed back up with some stupid MLM? Well, I didn't, guys. I was strong and I kept to my guns. Thank God for my husband that just called me out on it because that's what needed to happen. All right, so the Tupperware. I had joined them in March 1989, and I was with them until, so I went into the MTC on October 17th. And you heard me say I was still delivering all the way up until I went in. So that's, what is that, 7 months? And then once I went into on my mission, I couldn't, and that was 18 months I was there. So the next entry will be Tupperware when I got out. And I got out in April 1991, and I went right back in. Same distributorship in Riverside, but I got a different manager this time. Yeah, and that's an interesting story there. Boy, talk about getting your hands into way too much. So, yeah, living in Italy, yeah, it did cross my mind several times. Oh, I wonder if they got Tupperware over here, because I would go to somebody's house, some members, to go to teach them, and I would see that they had Tupperware. And I was just, there was a joke for a long time. My mother-in-law would say that I was going to be buried in a Tupperware container. And I used to joke and say, yeah, I'll be cremated, my ashes will go in a Tupperware container. Which is funny because most Mormons don't believe in cremation. They're starting to become more open about it now, but back then they weren't. So it was very scandalous that I was thinking about being cremated and having my ashes put in a Tupperware container. Anyway, that was the joke. So that's the end of this entry. If you feel inclined, please subscribe to my channel and put your comments below if they have to do with my video and not promoting your damn pornographic content that doesn't belong in here in the first place. Probably going to talk about that forever now because I get so pissed off after I go to the trouble of doing these videos, and I do look at them, watch them again, and edit them, and then some damn bot or some hoe goes on there and puts their stupid information on there, which YouTube's going to pull it, and they're going to remove you and block you and ban your account. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why? Is your life that bad? Because those are the kind of people that do that kind of stuff. I feel sorry for you. God. If you feel inclined to subscribe, please do, and hit the notification bell if you want notifications. You know, to be honest with you right now, I'm not getting notifications from a lot of people because I subscribe to so many, and I know who I want to follow, so I go in there and I look. If you want to, though, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. That's the big deal, isn't it? And get a conversation going if you want to. Thanks for watching.